Hi there. I did not bring the agenda. Did you bring the agenda?
I did.
Good, because you're well organized. Thank you. Hello, everyone. Good of you to come and join us today again. This should be fun. It's supposed to be fun, at least.
Bjorn just left.
Yeah, Bjorn just left. He's
Don't
like,
worry, I got this, guy.
Screw this. Oh, so we have Horvath is going to sit at the console.
Hi.
And
You
actually,
can see it.
yeah, they can see the green.
Damn it.
So he's going to sit at the console and just press random buttons, I guess.
Yeah. Don't touch anything. Don't put water there.
Yeah, just don't put your water there.
You
Okay,
say-
so
Oh.
let's get to this. This rather pleasant day here in Montreal. It's minus way too many outside, and in the
Minus
office it's a
20.
sauna.
Minus 20 Celsius.
Yes, of
So,
course, real
crazy.
degrees.
Yeah, real degrees.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
let's say
let's
hi
get to the stuff.
To,
Our mods.
to our mods that
We
are
have
here.
many mods.
With, there you go. Clyde, Gitawid, Sassy,
Good afternoon.
Shiroku, and Suggestive.
Thank
for
you.
being here.
Okay. This is breaking news right here. No, that's not. That's the answers to the Q&A.
So basically,
We have a day.
yeah.
Yeah.
Finally, after
Yeah, that patch was a bitch
Much.
to get out.
much talked about.
It's out. Did you notice?
Yes.
Yeah, you did.
So,
It's wintry.
first off, winter event.
Yeah, let's talk about it a little.
Just a little bit. Of course, there's lobby changes. There's
You saw the little intro.
in-game and
Loop.
map changes, which is crazy cool. There's new achievements. There is new cosmetics for killer.
Yep.
Yeah.
They have bright
Woo.
blue eyes.
Also, the comeback of the fire starters called
And there,
party starters.
and there are super secret, exciting mystery boxes.
Yes, I was gonna say in the blood webs, new exciting mystery boxes. A lot of people are asking, why is there no double blood point?
Well, that's a good question.
Yeah.
And I was asking Thomas today, who said, and I quote, oh, I don't have the quote. So he told me essentially, that's beautiful. We're working on a lot of different new ways to interact and reward during those events. And we want to do away with the double blood point.
Different than just doubling the blood points.
So we'll do more fun things with that, but it starts with not doing it, right?
Yeah, and since we just changed the point system, the point generation and the new blood web, I think we were good to
we're good.
take a break from the double blood point. So here it is, the explanation as to why.
It's not a great explanation, to be
Well,
fair, but it's the explanation.
We still have plans for the future. but
Yeah,
for now,
absolutely.
it's not happening.
There you go. Quick note on the PTB.
Oh, okay.
No, leave the agenda so we can. Yeah, PlayStation Experience. So this weekend we were at PlayStation Experience. It was super fun. It was also very nice weather in Anaheim.
Yeah.
We met a lot of really excited people. We had people line up and play the game the whole time we were there. It was super fun.
Yeah, I got to play with controller.
Yeah, I like that. The one really fun thing was in those events, what we usually do is we have people play without any perks or items because first of all, it streamlines the experience so people don't spend an hour fiddling with the loadouts, but also it has something pure in the sense of the experience of Dead by Daylight. And
Vanilla, if you will.
yeah, absolutely.
It was really, really fun playing without perks.
Yeah, and we had swag for some people there,
Well,
and we had beanies. Very popular Dead by Daylight, awesome
A
beanies.
new type
Yeah.
of beanie, like better
And
quality.
Some people, well, we actually only gave it out to people who played as the killer and murdered everyone.
Yep.
So it was harsh. They were not playing for.
They had good coaches.
Yeah. Yeah, way too much, actually. But so we gave out a bunch of beanies for people who wiped the whole group. And we even had 1 or 2 groups of 5 that came in together just to win a beanie for one of them. They're just like, okay, we'll let him kill us. It's gonna be fine, just so he can get a beating. And we're like, that's absolutely.
We
fine.
also have
Stress balls. And the funny thing about our stress balls is that these are the hardest stress balls I have ever had the chance to squeeze.
You're setting yourself up for balls jokes.
You're welcome. You are welcome.
And we had a pack.
We had a backpack also that we gave out to survivors who managed to make it out alive. So we had a good time. It was fun to see the PlayStation build run and have people play the game. Not enough people know that they can play Dead by Daylight on PS4.
And we met a lot of new people, which is really exciting.
Yeah. So for us, it was a blast, actually.
Yeah.
And now we're back in the office. The other things that we had on the menu. Oh, you got that from the PlayStation experience.
Well, you got that too.
Yeah. I didn't bring it. I prefer my mug.
Wrong side.
All right. So
thanks.
We have
Gamepedia.
we have the roadmap. Of what's coming.
Let's talk about that a little bit.
I added the holiday break in it.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
So that's the first order of business for us.
First order of business. Do not expect anything.
So we're not going to do anything significant before we come back from the break in January.
Yeah.
Don't expect a new chapter next week or a big update. That was the big thing.
So
obviously we're going to keep monitoring. If something goes wrong, we're going to be able to react.
Absolutely.
But the big stuff is coming when we come back. Although in January, in French we say attache ta tuque avec la broche, which loosely translates into tie your beanie down with wire.
Which means nothing in English.
Well, it means get ready. It's gonna something.
It's gonna snow.
Yes. Yeah.
All right.
So that's it. After that, we're doing the emblems, and we're gonna do a PTB for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
But since we need to all be on deck and ready to deal with the results and to be able to monitor this and then readjust, we're gonna do that when we come back in January.
Hold on to your hats, apparently.
Yeah, but it's not as because if you just hold on to them, it's not gonna be enough.
But you have
also,
to tie them down.
Your hands are gonna be busy. Because we need to still be able to play the game. Anyway, it doesn't work. I put my foot down. It's not working. Right. What's the difference between the new mystery Bloodweb boxes and the old ones?
It's a mystery.
It's mysterious. That's the difference.
Thomas or our friendly homie Spriggans can help us out.
But there is a mystery there. I like that.
Well, first off, they are spawning a lot more often.
Yeah.
And second, I think they can give other kind of stuff.
Excellent.
All right. So.
The entity is really nice, just misunderstood. I don't think so.
Oh.
Okay, so what else we have on the menu?
Well, basically, we're once we did that, we go to the Q&A from the web, and then we switch to the panel.
What's next?
What's next was the
roadmap.
Yeah.
Okay. Good. All right. So the Q&A. Do you want to ask questions?
Absolutely.
All right.
Oh, what's the community concept you like the most?
So that's a tough one. We really like game modes idea, tournaments idea. There were some really, really nice ones out there. Lore bits are super fun to read, even though most of them are absolutely wrong. And there was a Houdini Survivor that came out a few weeks back that was really well thought through. And the best parts, I was asking Dave that and we were talking, and it's usually when people take the time to actually flesh out the story a little bit. We really dig that. So that was cool.
Decisive Strike stands for 4.7 seconds, even when the description says 4, and entering only reduces the DS stun by 35 instead of 75.
I'm looking at
bugs or intended.
What's up? So from what I understood.
Do you wanna just join us?
Yeah, just.
I like
okay, then this is the yeah.
Hold on a second. So
you're like the voice in the speaker. Like
Yeah.
I'm talking to Jarvis.
Exactly. We were talking about the
Stun of the Decisive Strike.
Decisive Strike. The issue is that when you drop somebody, it takes 1 second. That 1 second is not modified by the stun, this is the time that the killer is letting go of the survivor. The survivor then gets 4 seconds to start running. That's from the time that he can actually start moving.
Which is not part of the 1 second.
Which is not part of the 1 second. So that 0.7 seconds that he described is actually a point where both the killer and the survivor are kind of like in limbo.
Stuck in the actions.
Before we can start going, which is why it says 4 seconds. We could write 5 seconds, but then people would be like, but I can only move for 4 seconds. So we might have the same issue from both sides. You can let me know what you guys feel like in general, but that's the idea. It should not be 35%, it should be the 75% that is indicated in enduring. This might be a...
But it doesn't count the 1 second where you drop.
The question is, can you hear Stefan correctly?
Oh, they
no?
cannot?
Not at all? Okay.
Fantastic.
So,
I'm here.
yeah, okay.
Hello.
So this was just weird where we were listening to someone going...
Alright, so I apologize. Decisive Strike is a 5-second stun only because while you are in the killer's grasp and he's in the process of dropping you, you cannot move. This is 1 second of not being able to do anything, so we didn't count it in the description. Yes, the killer is in fact disabled for 5 seconds during the Decisive Strike action, but the survivor can only move for 4 seconds. We could have written the text saying that you were stunned for 5 seconds, but people might ask, why am I not able to move why am I only able to move for 4 seconds, not the full 5 seconds? I would have had perhaps the same confusion on both sides. We chose one of the directions. Please let us know. If it's clearer one way than the other. I see them kind of being the same. In addition to that, the 35% reduction should have been changed to 75% if that is still occurring. We will be more than happy to look into it. Keep in mind that because this is a charge action and our stuff works quite interesting sometimes, this is the rate of recovery. This is not a flat reduction. Now, what does that mean? What it means is that you are in fact recovering at 1.75 charges a second instead of 1 charge a second. That means that your 4 seconds is divided by 1.75, your charge rate, which would result in a mathematical result. Now, I don't know what that is off the top of my head, so please take a look. But this should result in the 75% reduction, which might look at more what you are expecting. Now, if this is not behaving correctly using these charges, and it's actually being divided by 1.35, please let me know. Sorry for a lot of math.
That's fine. You should never apologize for math.
Oh, just for some people.
Okay. Oh yeah, that's a question about head case here. So the head case is now available on Xbox since a couple of days, depending on your region.
Yeah.
For PS4, we're still waiting on Sony to get back to us. And so it's coming. They just need to flip the switch. So depending on your region, it's gonna happen. You should be able to get that before the holidays, hopefully. It's out of our hands, and we don't have much visibility.
What is being done about hatch standoff?
Yeah.
Nothing.
So at this stage, the hatch standoff is in the design side. So we have a lot of ideas that are being kicked about. You want to talk about it at length. We're not going to get into it right now, but nothing is being implemented as we speak.
What? Can I talk about it a little bit?
Just come here and stay here.
All right, cool. I'm back. So,
go on.
I keep getting so excited that I forget what we're going to talk about.
Hatch standoff.
No, I'm kidding. So the hatch standoff is basically the killer can close the hatch. Hopefully we want to identify it to both the survivor and the killer when it appears.
Can we have the little crawler? These are ideas, and this is not...
Oh, yes.
This is idea, talk, and not implemented, not done yet, right?
No, not at all. So we want to close the hatch as the killer, identify it to both the survivor and the killer to rush towards the hatch. The survivor gets there first, they escape. The killer gets there first, they close the hatch. There is no standoff. At this point, if the killer closes the hatch, what do you do as a survivor? This is probably what you're asking right now. I can't hear you.
You always have the option to do the gens.
You can do the gens, but I want to spawn a key in the basement, allowing you to have another point of interest. For the killer to have another point of interest to defend as well. It's not just the generators. He has to actively keep in mind that the survivor might go to the basement. This would directly buff territorial imperative, which tells you when people are in your basement, and other perks of the like. That's all I got.
Can you add a crawler about no double blood point dis for the event? Because people are constantly asking.
It is not happening.
Good, yes.
All right. What's your vision of Freddy? Like, are you content with his position? Do you have any stats you'd be willing to show us? Pre-nerf and post-nerf Freddy. Oh, I would say.
So we do have stats. I'm not going to share them today. Dave was telling me, so most of the time when we look at balancing whatever it is, Freddy in this case, we take about a third from data, a third from the community mood, and a third from our own gut feeling. And right now, data tells us that Freddy is in the exact right position. The community is sort of iffy about it, and we feel that he might be nerfed a little too much, but we don't know.
I'm looking into maybe like an interrupt kind of action or 0 charges. We've looked into this before, but I think it might be necessary.
But yeah, right now it's not a critical issue that we're addressing as we speak.
Not at the moment.
There you go.
All right. What are your personal favorite killer to face and killer you hate to face?
So I usually play killer. So favorite killer to face, I'll have to say Hillbilly, because there's fewer surprises with the Hillbilly. You hear him coming usually. And the worst to face for me is definitely the nurse.
Oh yeah, really? Oh, okay. My favorite is
me.
the nurse.
Okay.
To face the nurse is my favorite. I think the worst for me is Trapper, because I always have to look around and be careful and everything. You cannot just run around the map freely. That would be what I like the most.
What about you?
I love playing against the shape. Specifically when I'm in voice chat. I love hearing when people scream, and I like the effect of being like, "He's looking, run!" I like that. I like that a lot. Worst killer to play against? I don't know. I actually like playing a lot of them. It's usually the people who just are unrelentless that bothers my competitive brain, and I'm just like, I want to stop. No,
not unrelenting.
Yeah, unrelenting. Yeah, no, because they miss sometimes.
Yeah.
They get me. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's it.
All right. Next week's.
Yeah, no. So someone was asking for a bunch
stats.
of stats about self-care and whatever. We'll get that next week. Wolf74.
Any news on the workshop? Love this game, and I would like to submit a UI menu mod for it.
Not yet.
Awesome.
We want to do that. That and a lot of other options to open the door to the workshop. Yeah. Maybe next year. I don't know. We'll see.
Not this year.
No.
Did the general level design philosophy change since launch? And if so, why? The new maps seem to be complex and complicated than the other one at release.
It's true that the maps are getting more complex, but that's mostly because we're getting more comfortable now with the game mechanics and the tools that we created for map generations, for creation, for the tile system, how to really stretch it to its limit and use it well.
Feedback has helped a lot as well, and
True.
watching people who are playing and just playing a ton of the maps.
Yeah, that's
Awesome.
it.
Really helps.
So Matt Walker keeps pushing what can be done.
Absolutely. Can't wait to see what he does next.
Since Matt couldn't be in the last stream, can we have him in this one?
Well, no,
Yeah.
he's busy.
He's very
Well, also
busy.
I asked him and he said no.
Ah,
But we want straight
Next week.
jokes.
all right.
Next week.
I like that.
I'll try.
Is it possible to get a new horror jump scare game mode type, no terror radius, and no perks? A little bit like
That's a great example
Scratchy
of
vibes.
community suggestions that we asked about at the very beginning. So yeah, something like no terror radius, no UI at all, no no anything extra, just the gameplay, pure and simple, no perks. That would be quite.
Is
a
that
lot
like
of fun.
no scratch marks?
No scratch
blood?
marks, no sound indicators,
No auras?
no auras.
So you have no idea when people get hooks?
No UI at the bottom telling you who's wounded or how many gens are left to do.
That's intense.
That'd be pretty cool, I
I
think.
like that.
It's hardcore, but you know.
That's hardcore.
There you go.
just found out that anti-hemorrhagic syringe, I don't know if I said that right, automatically wakes up survivor. Is this intended?
So if you go from dying to injured, you automatically wake up.
Yeah.
So that is the syringe that allows you to go immediately from those states, and therefore, yes, it's supposed to wake you up.
Variant lore for Quentin as well, if you watched the movies.
Have you
True.
ever considered
Yeah.
To stay awake.
adding hazards to map that could injure a survivor? For example, a
I
survivor
love that.
hits a tripwire and they get shot by an arrow.
Sounds like a killer power.
What about like,
or maybe an offering where you get like a poison gas in the basement or something.
Oh,
If you
just
stay
so
there
cool.
too long, you get injured or something.
you complete a generator and then like the hay
The gears.
mulcher goes by and just goes across the whole hayfield and takes out all the corn.
If you teabag
And kills
too
anyone in
much,
front.
you get hurt.
Oh, come on. What's wrong with you?
Come on. Lore question.
That was awesome.
Is the entity worship on the heart hurt?
We love lore questions, by the way.
AKA the real world. The rate add-on suggests this, but I would like some confirmation.
So, Philip brought things and ideas to Dead by Daylight's universe when he transferred over. He brought his own ideas, his own knowledge of what's happening here. And then it got transformed and modified and corrupted. The entity might be worshipped here. Maybe some of you do that on the weekends. I don't know. But it's not related to him. That's it.
There you go. Last stream, the 3D animator mentioned having to make real-life videos to base them off the Mori. Example shown was the Huntress. Oscar-winning acting, by the way. Will you ever show us the rest of the concept videos for the other Mori?
That was an amazing question, and I immediately ran to David Pronovo and I asked him, hey, where are the other videos? And he's like, oh, well, last week when we showed them, we looked everywhere, and that's the only one we can find, because it's usually someone does it on their phone, and then they show it to each other, and they send it through email and whatnot, and no trace of those videos is kept because they're not useful once it's done.
They didn't want to come back with the weapons and just recreate them.
But
in
that's
front
it. He's
for
like,
everybody.
if you want to, I can shoot some right now to recreate the animations, but it's not real.
We should
It's-
have them just come in and just you know.
Yeah, but David Pronovo does not want to be on camera, which is surprising because
Oh, come
he
on.
takes such good care to appear properly at all times.
He does appear properly.
And finally, will there be presents from the entity for us Christmas, or were we too naughty?
There's no such thing as too naughty, by the way. I think that's important to point that out. But done. You just got a bunch of presents in the form of bright, piercing blue eyes and party starters and a
Yes.
cool lobby and festive lights everywhere. So there.
The trees are really cool. No wait.
There is still a bug where rebinding mouse 1 to Q or anything else for iteration doing generator causes animation cancels when trying to open chests, making them take 10 times longer to open and create a lot more noise.
Ooh.
That's interesting. I will copy paste that into our QA mailing list and let them handle that one. But we'll do that after. So, that was the extent of the questions that we had. So that was good.
Yeah.
What's what
Next
else
would
is-
be the panel on the rate changes and from the web. So you guys don't need me anymore. I will join you on chat, people, in a few seconds. And enjoy.
So Shelby just replied, Q key binding is bugged. So it is a bug that we are aware of. Thank you very much. Thanks, Shelby. Bye.
Have fun, guys.
Thank you. Please have a seat in that amazing chair provided by our friends at AK Racing.
So
I
nice.
feel so dirty. I do enjoy feeling dirty
Oh, that's
once
nice.
in a while.
Oh, so fun.
Okay.
The entity does not hurt you or hate you for it.
No,
No.
it's okay. All right, let's talk about the rate.
Yes.
Leg day.
Leg day. So, I've seen questions on the leg day Wraith thing person update, and I'd like to answer them. First, yes.
By the way, I don't know I should do this, but my background image is still this really cool image.
It's so cool. If I was thinking about getting it as the background.
Oh,
for the
yeah.
stream, but another time. All right. So, questions are gonna be difficult to answer. I think.
Now people are gonna
Go crazy, right?
dig down all of the icons on my desktop.
All right, I would just like to be able to see here just to make sure. All right, so people talked about Wraith getting nerfed. I'm going to go into the nitty-gritty first, and let's go further after. The idea is that he feels slower when he is uncloaking. This is what I've been told and what I keep hearing. I do agree that it might feel slower. I actually have 2 images to help identify and show you why you might feel this way and why I have chosen to go this route for the speed curves. This is in fact supposed to be a buff, so if it is not working out that way, then something is not working or clearly matching up as it should. One thing to note is that the new Wraith does depend on a slightly different style of play. Before, you might have been decloaking very far away from survivors because of the fact that you'd be penalized so much from decloaking that you'd have to try to like strategically plan many moves ahead. As it is now, you can decloak behind a wall and they'll only hear the bell. At the bell point, that's when you can have a huge amount of surprise and gain a lot where you would have lost a lot of distance in the past. But this means that you have to get up close. You know, you have to try to hide your shimmer and start decloaking in a more strategic manner. Bjorn, if you wouldn't mind, would you like to bring up number 1?
Hey, that's a curve.
The first one, please. It's a little funky at the moment.
That's not the number 1?
Is this number 1?
Would you like the other one?
Yeah.
Much different curve.
Other number 1.
That's not really a curve, really.
This is how it was before.
That's more of a line.
This is more of a line, yeah. So it starts at 75% of the maximum speed that you're currently moving at, which is your uncloaked speed. What that means in mathematics, and I apologize that I'm going into math, but this is how I've actually proven my work, I hope anyways. Survivors within 3 seconds will move 12 meters. A killer during this time is moving at 75%, which is 3.45 meters a second, and then goes down to 1.426, I believe. At that point, anyways, the whole math, I'm just going to skip the whole part.
Yeah.
The whole math is you gain 7.5 meters during that 3 second decloak. The killer, survivors move at 12 meters. The difference is 7.5 second time to catch up, which is a lot of time to run when you were literally right behind the person and catch up to them, right? The new curve gets down to 7.3 seconds, which is only a 2 second difference if you haven't noticed. If you wouldn't mind switching to the new curve. It's a little wonky, but it starts off at full speed, goes down to 40%, goes down to 33%. These are just numbers, I'm just throwing them out right now. Goes back up to 44%, sorry, and then finishes at max speed. The difference here means that you actually end your acceleration at a higher speed than you did before. Before you would like peter out at the bottom and then have to climb back up to catch survivors, so you lose even more ground during that time. Windstorm, for the first 0.5 seconds, would be just causing your acceleration to kick in very fast, but you'd never actually make it to 6.9 meters a second. So Windstorm was slightly nerfed, but buffed at the same time just by the curve. Now this might seem like too much information, and I might actually be giving too much information.
The people who want to know about this want to know about this.
But to make it simpler, okay? The other big point for the Wraith is that his bell starts ringing at about halfway through the curve.
Yeah.
Right? This is where survivors are audibly notified that the killer is uncloaking. Otherwise, they will visually see him uncloaking at the beginning of the curve. Before, you would keep losing speed in the end of your cloak. Yeah. And this is the most crucial point of your decloak, because this is where you want to be gaining speed, right? So you're still losing at this point. Now with the new curve, at the 1.5 point, you've already lost the majority of your speed, and now you're just on an incline. So that when you come out of that decloak, you should have a lot more power and a lot more presence on survivors in situations where you might have been screwed. Windstorm now kicks in a hell of a lot, and you get up to 10.35 meters a second, I believe, during that time period if you lunge, so you can cover ridiculous distance. I would really like...
It's just that you have to relearn the timing.
You have to relearn the timing, and you have to relearn where you should be positioning where you're trying to decloak in these kind of situations. The best thing to do is to try it out and, be unrelenting, like the perk icon and the perk itself. Even if you miss, try again. There are different ways to do it. But if you're decloaking very far away from a survivor, I do believe you're not getting any benefit from the changes that we're doing at the moment.
And staying cloaked actually helps. Well, at least especially now that the blood is much more visible.
It's ridiculous
when you're stalking.
Yes. So when you're cloaking, what we've done now is back in the day you would actually drop your cloaking and you'd go to about 45% of your speed, which is very low. And then so cloaking was actually penalizing, and it would take you 3 seconds. I believe now we've changed it to 2 seconds. I have it here somewhere. And in those 2 seconds, you're moving at 100% speed, and at the end of it, going up to 95% speed. Yeah, I'm just doing this in my head.
Yeah, okay.
I apologize. 110% speed, sorry, at the 95% point, which means that you're actually never losing speed during the the cloak, sorry. And at the end, you're actually gaining speed. Now, some people have noticed that when you raise your bell, it feels like you're going faster. It's not true. It's just a visual effect that's playing with your brain. But you can do it. It feels good. You know, you don't lose speed. So have fun. It also is a great way to fake out survivors. So while you're approaching them and you're getting near a pallet loop, you know, instead of committing to a swing and lifting up your weapon and swinging, you just fake the animation. You lift your belt, and usually that's enough for survivors to be like, oh shit! And they're like, oh damn, he faked me out. Which is really fun.
What's happening to Bloodhound?
Bloodhound now has the same, it was on that page, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Right there. So 2, 3, 4 seconds longer than normal.
It's the same as before. It always had a longer duration on the Bloodhound perk. In addition to that, it's always considerably brighter, and the intensity for the blood is significantly, well, considerably in regard, increased, but it's significantly increased towards what the old considerably used to be. So, you know.
That was
relativity, yes. Sorry. But the idea is that, so some people have asked me, why would you have put Bloodhound as a base into the Wraith? What's up?
Do you guys have anything in store for a rework of Hillbilly?
That's funny.
Well, I think that Hillbilly's fine.
Oh, you want to say that?
I think the Hillbilly's
There was
fine.
a big meme that they said we were going to nerf Hillbilly and nerf Nurse because we said they were so strong. Oh,
Okay.
fine. Yeah, he's fine. He's fine. There might be things that we can do. That could be some fun stuff for.
Yeah.
But not
Stress
right
ball for the
now.
Hillbilly?
Yeah, no. We want to look at the Nurse and the Hag and you know, some of those lovely characters first. Yeah. So some people asked why the blood is brighter while you're using Cloak, and why it's also in his perk. You know, does it feel like counterintuitive? Is it a little bit repetitive? I believe what it allows you to do is, as a Wraith, you will start off and you have the ability to use Bloodhound and learn how blood is beneficial to you and how you can use it smartly and well, right? As a new player, you're probably not going to be using the Cloak as much to find blood. It's a little bit more for the experience side, I would believe. But with Bloodhound, making it last longer, there are situations where if someone gets unhooked and you were at a significant distance, you can come back, potentially follow their trail to kill them. Will become a lot more beneficial in these moments. In case you survivors are like, holy shit! Now the hook hit. No. You guys have things that you guys can do as well. There are fun things that can happen. No Mither should be a little bit more interesting as well. I'm quite interested to see what people say about that and how they use it.
Yeah.
Shadowborn is also massive. Goes off screen. It's really cool. Makes you feel faster as well. I apologize.
Yeah. It's just a trickery of the camera, but
it's just a trickery of the camera. Yeah, but some people were complaining that once the camera came back, it felt so slow. And I was like, yeah, that's what happens when we make it so big. Were there any specific questions that I would have to answer or would like to answer for the Wraith?
No, not really. It says the changes to the raid seem to suggest a massive upgrade. The implementation seems to not match up to those changes. It seems to have gotten worse. I think we've addressed that.
Yeah, I hope so. And I'd love to see how you guys use it and what you guys believe are the issues and where he actually plays out worse. I do believe there's an adjustment period that is necessary before we can take any action towards this.
Any plans for Leatherface to be able to unlock a new batch of faces?
That'd be amazing. A new batch of faces.
That's a beautiful sentence.
I like that.
It's not planned right now. Maybe. I don't know.
Not yet? Alright. In addition to that, we've changed his invisibility time to 3 seconds from 4 seconds. You guys can go through all the rest of the patch notes for the specific details. The flashlights, I know one of the questions that came up was why was the odd bulb buffed? From what was said, it was changed from a moderately increased consumption rate, which means that you use more charges when you use the oddball add-on. It was reduced from 24% to 12%. The reason for this is that we removed all the insta-blind components, so the blind speed and the reveal speed, from all the flashlight add-ons and from the utility flashlight itself. So it's not. It was an adjustment, as the odd bulb would have been hit pretty hard and wouldn't have merited its rarity at that point, in my opinion.
Okay.
So for the all-seeing add-ons, people have thought that this will be affected by perks, meaning that it will increase aura reading perks. So for example, like Deerstalker or Nurse's Calling. This is not what we meant by this text. It means that Soul Survivor can reduce the range. This is not an additive increase to aura reading detection perks, such as Open-Handed does for survivors.
Are you adding new maps anytime soon? Well,
What's soon?
well, soon is a very overused word, I'd
Yes.
say. But I did play in a map that is not available right now,
Oh,
today.
yeah.
And I had a good time.
You're
so.
a team. I had a great time.
Yeah.
We should
Yeah, it was fun.
give that out. Bjorn's like, what? When? Don't ask me. Any other fantastic questions?
No, not that I can see.
Did the raid's movement speed while cloak changes go through? Yes. He is quicker when cloaking, and he has been adjusted in his uncloak speed so that he is actually more beneficial if survivors don't catch you uncloaking.
So your proposed fix to the hatch standoff is not a fix, it's a flat buff to killers in an already killer-sided scenario. Please do not allow killers to simply close the hatch.
So the hatch appears and gives you a extra way to escape in a game that would have been over for you to a certain extent. Now, keep in mind, there is gameplay for you at this point, and I believe. I don't know if it would necessarily be killer-sided. I think that it gives the killer and a survivor clear things to do instead of just standing and staring at each other. I would love to know what other suggestions you guys have. We're still thinking about it. We haven't actually implemented it yet, so I'm more than happy to entertain suggestions.
Killer-sided, I mean, it's... Yeah, I think that's a very...
The killer gets to close the hatch. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, but it's saying that and anytime you say that the game or some part of the game is killer-sided or survivor-sided is always gonna essentially start a beautiful fire pit of flame wars.
Usually, yeah.
Yeah, it's fun.
I think so.
I love this passion.
Whose passion?
This passion.
Oh,
our
yes.
community is a
Oh.
passionate, fiery community.
It's very true.
Fix dead hard nurses can't play versus this perk.
That must be very difficult. I guess with an extra blink, you could fake the attack and they would dead hard. I know a lot of other killers do that. I can see why it'd be difficult for the nurse.
Yeah. Once.
Yeah, and then you'd kind of know.
Well, also then you have a cooldown on that hard.
It's true.
So,
It's true.
yeah. So yeah, unless we have other specific questions that I have not seen, but my gentle army of mods has not provided us with any, so there's a shit ton of stuff, but we can't, it's just going way too fast. I want to see the hatch be able to be closed. Well, there you go.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, and it says someone's like, it's supposed to be killer-sided. Well, it's an asymmetrical game, so the two sides have very, very different objectives and capabilities.
Having options are good. I like that.
Yeah.
Want more clothes?
For Barbie dress up with Fang.
Fang, yeah, sorry, yes.
Yeah. So new clothes are being sewn as we speak.
Aw.
All right, so let's go to my very, very favorite part of the show here.
Wait. Does the entity use elves? What is the equivalent for the entity?
It's some sort of dark minion, I guess, or maybe it's just extra tentacle, spidery leg things.
Would the proper meme be that it's a bunch of just Nias?
No, I will not allow
Okay.
that. Why do you think the raid should suffer from light burns when there are 2 other stealthy killers without this weakness?
Freddy can get blinded while he's there. He's invisible. It's very difficult to do, but he doesn't get burnt. That's true. The nurse can get burnt during her blink. But we removed from the hillbilly.
Mm.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't see us doing. I can't see us burning out. What would you burn Myers out of? Stop stalking me! You're looking too hard.
Yeah.
Ah!
But he was looking straight at you. It burns his retinas. Maybe. I don't know.
We can think about it.
I'm not a designer. I'm not allowed to be in that conversation. All right. Let's go to the amazing stuff that I found from you people out there. All right. And we start with AE, I believe, is the name of the person.
Oh, that's so cool.
That's a beautiful, festive. I wish there was wrapping paper with that motif.
Are her hands tied?
Maybe. She's a gift,
Ah, okay.
I guess. And she is technically under the mistletoe. So just make out with the nurse.
That's funny.
Next is Black Derby, who made a potato raid.
That's amazing.
I love it.
Wasn't that what they used to make? Oh no, it was turnips and potatoes. Yeah, make pumpkins. For
Yeah,
Halloween.
the original ones were,
Oh.
I think, turnips. Yeah.
I like this.
Then we have Cramfest. That's cool.
Kenny Bros. That's so cool.
I would love this as an album cover.
The new chapter. They both just get sunglasses. That's their thing.
That's the whole chapter.
That's wonderful.
Next we have Damichi, who made essentially it's both of these characters cosplaying as the other.
That's cool.
That's really nice.
Yeah, I like it.
Fid was emboldened because we showed some of the stuff. So here's another offering. I really like it. The purple
Another
is
offering. Fantastic.
Heyon G made this.
What?
And I thought it was very insightful because the bright blue eyes came right after that.
It's true. It's true. I saw it amazing. Did you see the bright blue legacy?
No.
Oh, it was nuts. Anyways, another time.
Okay. Ivilina is one of our Russian players, and this is I read shot in an actual Russian forest.
That's fantastic.
That's absolutely brilliant. Thank you very much. You look awesome. Just Dreamy gave us this. It's
very cool.
I'm not exactly sure everything's happening in there, but I'm fine with that.
The chainsaws.
Lane Deer made a whole series of pretty much every single character in the game in that style. I like it.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it's good. Dwight Renew gave us this adorable Cold Wind Farm. He looks like he's 8 or 9. That's perfect.
So
and
he's a
then
young hillbilly.
we have Wet for Rate, who was at a convention. I don't remember
The
which
bones
one.
are so cool.
And that's a really, really cool looking cosplay right there. Probably freaked a few people.
Almost looks like it could be a shotgun.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, that's what I found. I should remember that Gabrielle is not here to stop me anymore, so I can just go nuts and put 57 things. Then again, I just came back from my trip, so I didn't have that much time to look around. That being said, I think that's about it for us today. Did we have anything that I forgot? Oh, that was the agenda there. Let me just check. Yeah, that's it. So quickly going over, we were at PlayStation Experience. It was fun. The Winter Solstice event is on right now. You have lots of really cool gifts. You have new lights everywhere. You have blue eyes.
Mm-hmm.
You have a mystery box of mystery.
Yeah,
and the blood web.
Achievements too.
Music achievements. Yes, a little get together in the basement and whatnot.
Oh my gosh, yes.
So that's the news. We will be taking a short winter break. So essentially don't expect any big updates or new chapter in the next 2 weeks. We'll be here next week though for another Twitch stream. But the big stuff is coming in January when we get back from our, I believe, moderately well-deserved vacation.
I'm excited.
For vacation?
Yes.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Pajamas,
So much food.
a purring cat, and so many games that I need to catch up on.
There's not enough time.
We'll have to make do.
Yep.
What's next? There's going to be a PTB when we come back for the emblem stuff. In the meantime, be nice, go forth in the fog and murder each other joyfully.
And wire your toques
Yes.
for the new year.
Attache ta tuque avec la broche, comme qu'on dit. So that's it. Thank you very much for joining us once more. This was a fun time, even though it's so warm in here.
It is getting hot.
Yeah. Oh, you cannot gain evil while blind.
That's amazing.
Did you know that?
Nope.
I did not know
It makes
that
sense
either.
though, because it's based off of how many pixels you can see on the screen, and if he only sees white, well, then he can't see many pixels, can he?
There you go. So,
Thank you, Shiroku.
and thank you, Sassy, for believing we deserve a vacation. And we will see you next time. So thanks to our mod, thanks to Bjorn, and
One last thing.
oh yes, please.
Getawid said for the anti-hemorrhagic
Syringe. The question about injured survivors, not downed.
It was injured survivors. So the syringe just always wakes you up. That was for the lore.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, but I asked Yannick earlier today, and he's like, no, it's from the dying to injured.
Yeah,
So
I think
we'll
in
double
addition-
check that.
Okay.
But yes, according to the lore, it should absolutely do that.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe we did it and forgot about it.
I do believe so.
Yeah, that's it. I got nothing else.
I like it.
Bye.
Happy holidays.